I just don't adult very well. Ain't that the truth, brother? I'm telling you. It's let's see. What's this? Jay? He really is that unprofessional. I thought that was just a joke. Where is... That was a close one. We're good. We're good. No need to panic. I mean, y'all weren't panicking. I was. It was me all. Totally. Okay. I need one. Okay, here we go. This guy's going to present off an iPad? He is braver than I thought. Okay, there we go. Oh, you can't even see the... Can y'all see that? See? As advertised. It's like not even playing around. It's like, so. That's a joke, right? Nope. This is a talk that was long overdue, I think, because it's about me failing. Everybody goes to security conferences and you see these awesome, amazing talks of all these wonderful exploits and stuff. Like, that's all you see. And my talk last year was Breaking in Bad, where it's like, oh, look, I broke into this place. And look, it was like the highlight reel of how awesome the stuff that I do is, right? With, some stuff that I was hoping that you would take back and learn from. How true is that? Why doesn't everybody talk about how they failed and how other people cannot make those kind of mistakes? Why aren't people learning how, just go in and say, hey, I messed up. This is how I screwed up. It's like, don't do this. It's always like, look how amazing this is. Yay. One try. Seriously, it just happened. So this is a talk on failure. This is not the cool failure kind of talk where it's like, oh, yeah, I accidentally left an orange out and invented penicillin. Yeah, it's not like that. It's like, it's not the kind of talk where it's like, well, I tried 1,000 times and stuff, and I invented the light bulb after I stole and destroyed Tesla. No, it's not that kind of talk either. This is literally a talk about how I've screwed up and how I've done really stupid, embarrassing things that I get to share with you guys. But it's going to be between us, right? No one else is going to see this, so it's okay. It's fine. That's one of the main things that you need to know about me, is that I'm an expert at failing. I mean, I do it really well. I mean, if it was a job, I'd probably fail at it, but it's not, so I'm doing good. It's like I've made mistakes. It's like I have no college education. It's like I've never had someone telling me how to do things right, so I've usually learned on my own trying to figure out how to do things, and I've made lots of mistakes doing it. So I thought, why not have a talk on that? And so what we're going to discuss during this talk are 3 different lessons from 3 different parts of our life. It's like two fails that I did as a red team, 2 fails I did as a blue team, and 2 fails I've done in the community. And these are like, how I've totally screwed things up. So let's start off. I'm old, so people may not remember this guy. It's Barney Fife from, Mayberry. And this is the perfect way to start this talk, because back in 2000, I started in information security. Prior to that, I was physical security and law enforcement. It's like I always had an adversary. I mean, I learned that, I'm dealing with suspects. I'm dealing with people that are suspicious. I came and talked and interacted with every person on their worst possible day. Every single day of my life on the job was dealing with someone on the worst possible day of their life. Either something horrible had just happened to them, and so I was there, or something horrible was about to happen to them because I was there. It's like, it was not a good place. It's like, and I didn't really like it that much. And, who wants to get shot at? That sucks. So I stopped doing that. And it's like, and I got into IT. And back in 2000, I found out that you could do computers and security and no one shoots at you. Of course, now I'm doing pen testing and physical stuff, so people still have the possibility of shooting me now. But, it still doesn't matter. It's like, it's still fun. I'm still having fun doing security with computers. But I sucked really bad at it when I first started because I treated my users and my employees like I was on the beat. It's like, everybody was suspicious. Everybody was someone that was probably going to do something bad on the network. Someone was surfing somewhere or plugging in something wrong. And I was the guy to stop them. I'm like, how's it going? What's up? Download anything suspicious lately? I didn't think so. It was that. It was horrible. It's like I literally did, one of the things that I did was I used to do badge inspection. Company policy said everybody had to have their badge. If you didn't have your badge, you had to get a visitor's badge. So I walked by the owner of the company's, the bank. I walked by his office one Monday. And he was like still looking, his back was to me, to the door, and he was looking on the computer. I was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, it's fine. And I'm like, Spidey sense. Had a good weekend? Oh yeah, everything's going great. And stuff, It's like, yeah, it was really good. He's still looking like this, working on it. And I'm like, you forgot your badge, didn't you? And his shoulders went down, like, yes, come with me. And I took the owner of the company to the receptionist desk, and he wore a visitor's badge the whole entire day because that was company policy. Was that cool on me? No. That wasn't cool on me. That was cool on him because he bought into the security policy and he enforced it. I was an a-hole. I was a jerk. It's like this picture there's a poster that you can buy, a metal poster that you can buy of this that has on it, says Fife Security Agency. That was a gift to me from the CEO and the management team one day for a birthday and stuff. And I am so really bad at human interaction, it literally took me years to figure out that, oh, they meant it as an insult. They were calling me that guy. I literally framed it in my office thing. It was like, oh, look how nice they gave me one and stuff, No, they were telling me, we think you're an idiot, Jayson, and we don't respect you because you're stupid. How good did I do at securing that environment? Not very well. It's like I didn't really do good. We were secure. We didn't, nothing. Well, the company's actually gone, so it doesn't matter anymore. They actually went under. It was a .com thing. This didn't happen well. It's like, so it didn't, I didn't do anything, and I didn't value add to my users because all I taught them was to try to avoid me. It's like, do things on the policy so you don't have to deal with that, weird dude and stuff, who comes around with the R2D2 cup. It's like, that's not cool. It's like, he's an idiot. Just leave him alone. It's like, and just do what you're supposed to do, and he won't come over and give you a hard time. That's not how you do good security. It's like, we have to start understanding that we got to engage our users and treat them as part of the security process. We need to let them know that we're there working for them to help them keep them employed. You have to cultivate relationships, not animosity. It's like, and I didn't do that at first. It's like, it took me a while to get that going. It takes me a long time to learn things the hard way. But you have to foster an image of being part of the solution, and you're not looking out for a problem. It's not everyone that you're chilling with is a suspect. They're an asset. They're part of your security team. And if your users don't think that they're part of your security team, then I'm not the only one failing in this room. It's like, you have to understand that they are part of the security team. And empower employees to get involved with what you do. You have to show them that what they do and how they help you matters. Literally. Oh, no. Oh. Dude. I just got iced by Dave with a warm Diet Coke. And here I am saying that I was unprofessional and not adulting. Wait, no, you gotta get up here and give me a hug if you're gonna give me a Diet Coke. I mean, seriously. Love you, brother. Me too. Seriously. So that's what ass tastes like. Ugh. I'm so going to spew. Yeah. Is the Smirnoff bottles this big? The can's this big? I don't. Okay. Huh. We're going to leave it at that then. There you go. I don't want to be a quitter. Thank you for clapping so you didn't get to hear the burp. Everybody appreciates that. Okay. So you have to get them involved in the process. And one of the key things that you do that is by giving them ways to be involved. I have a user at one of the jobs that I've worked where he got spam, like phishing attacks and spam emails. And I was like, you know what? Well, you can forward those to security if you think they're suspicious or new and cutting edge. He's like, why don't you forward them to us and we'll take a look at it. I did not know what I was getting into. I have a spam filter rule for the spam filter rule guy sending me spam. Okay? This guy is so helpful. He literally sends me spam from his home account, not the work account, his home account. Hey, this is a new one, and just in case, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I literally, every, 500 to 1,000, I'll reply back with one going, hey, thank you. I really appreciate that. That is a new one. It's like, awesome. Again, but you know what? To him, he's part of the security team. He's involved. He tells his coworkers, yeah, I help security every once in a while. I'm part of the information security process. And of course, their first response is like, wait, we have a security department here? It's like, it's like, yeah, this is what they do. And it's like, so that's a good thing. That gets them involved in it. That makes them vested in it. Every member from the CEO to the mailroom and in between is part of your information security program. And they need to be aware of that and know that. Now, the next one, this is literally one of the most embarrassing fails I've ever done. I mean, it was like really, I blush very easily for the slightest thing. It's like, which is weird because, because I do this stuff, for a living. But it's like, this was embarrassing. My boss wasn't at work one day, which he's learned to live to regret. And I'm the one monitoring, and I'm always monitoring the firewall logs. It's like I watch the firewall logs like a soap opera. I'm constantly watching. It's like there's a monitor on my desk, and it's like, because I'm waiting for the bad things to come in and get me. And I'm looking, I noticed one day that there was this telnet traffic from inside our routers. I mean, it's literally at that moment, the phone call's coming from inside the house. And I'm like, what the? And I'm freaking out. So what do? I do what any normal, rational person, no, I can't even finish that sentence because, that's not true. It's like, I freaked out and went over to the networking guy. He's like, hey guys, it's like, we got this ton of traffic. Where's this traffic coming from? I need you to tell me. Do I treat the network guys ever nice? No, they're networking. Screw those guys, right? I mean, let's face it. Let's be honest. Just take a moment here. What did networking guys do? They want to make the network faster. Got to speed it up. Got to make sure we're meeting our metrics. What do security guys got to do? Hold your horses. Slow it down. We got to split the packets, So there's that rivalry. It's like, and also because they're evil. But, still, hey, I got issues, okay? I've never said I haven't. So I'm doing better with them. But I never really went to the networking guys ever unless I needed them to do something for me. Why would I? I mean, heck, I wouldn't go into the networking area unless I let my boss know that I was going to be in there, and if I wasn't out by 30 minutes to call in the black choppers, and I told him what my safe word was, it's like, I mean, that's how I dealt with networking. So I go in there, and the network manager's like, yeah, that is strange, that's really weird, and I'm like, that's all I need to hear. It's really weird and strange, something's going on. Incident. We escalated it. After talking to the manager, him saying that, escalated it. My boss isn't here. Oh, my boss reports to the CIO. Well, I got to talk to the next person in charge. So I go to the CIO of my company and tell them how we're having this issue and there's a possible breach inside our network. And I don't know how they got in, but it looks very suspicious. It looks bad. And, it's something we need to deal with. So we started the incident. We go back over to the network part. They're looking around. We're trying to do some searches, trying to figure out where these IP addresses are. They're coming totally internal, and they're hitting routers. And I'm like, they're hitting our routers. And I'm thinking Cisco vulnerability, it's like before, NSA screwed up and left all their stuff out. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is really bad. 15 minutes in, a guy raises his hand, one of the network guys. Guys, what was that source IP address again? And we tell him. He's like, could that be the telnet scan I'm running on all our routers and stuff, doing a configuration check? And I'm like, couldn't you said that a little sooner? And my CIO's looking at me like, couldn't you waited just a little bit longer? And I'm like, it's like, I lost so much credibility on that because I didn't want to deal with them and they were trolling me. It's like, they got me good on that one. It's like, that was my fault. I made several mistakes on that one. But one of the first things that I made the mistake on was I never listened to them. I never tried to deal with them in a pleasant manner. It's like it was just they're there to do the things that I need to get done, period. That was wrong. You need to listen to your networking team. Your networking team is also part of your security department, and you're part of the networking team. You have things, we're all geeks, right? I mean, they may like Star Trek more than Star Wars, or, it's like, but everybody loves Babylon 5, so you've got common ground always, and Firefly is, amazing. So there you go, you've got common ground to work with it. Find common ground, and let's face it, once again, they're geeks. They're broadcasting what they like by action figures and other little things and stickers and posters on their desk as well. So look at those. Try to find something that you can meet with. Go to lunch with them. If you can. Some of those guys are like, they just feed in their pen and you leave them alone. Sorry. I still have issues, okay? I'm working on it, okay? But you try to interact with them. Try to learn with them. It's like try to make sure that they understand that you're there to help them because when the network is secure, it runs more stable. It's like when you help make the network run faster, then they've got a use for you and then you can be friends. Show them how that works. Try to make sure that they're on your side and never just go running bloody murder when you see a telnet scan. That's the other thing I learned from that lesson. I don't know if you can use that, but I would definitely try. And you develop this communication before the crisis. Don't do it right when it's happening. It's like learn it before. It's like, and the other thing is, man, search out all aspects. Don't make assumptions because you and umption, it's not going to work out well. So it's like, so make sure that you're learning and you're not just jumping to the critical thing of like, this is the worst case scenario. So the next part is my red team fail. It's like, and I use this slide because this is what I used to think red team fails were. When I start, let's put it understand, it's like, I've never really think I've ever done a proper red team. Okay. But when I started doing penetration testing, when I started doing the offensive side of it, I didn't know what I was doing. And I have very bad self-esteem. I have very low, poor image of what I can do. So I was like going to others and seeing what they do. And I'm thinking, well, that's what I got to do. I got to go into the company and go, boom, where'd your plan go? It's like, I've got to be offensive. I got to be like, I've got to go in there. And I mean, and just take a second. It's like for this quote. I mean, not just because of the fact that it's a convicted rapist and stuff, I don't like having rapists in my slides unless I'm talking about privacy advocacy or IPv6, but does that really make sense to you? That that's what you have to do? That you have to deal with your client in such an adversarial way? When did they become the enemy? They're your client. You're there to help them make them more secure. And so one of the engagements that I was on, I was dealing with this one company, and this guy, he was a networking guy, just FYI, I'm just saying. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just stating for the record, he was a network guy. And he didn't like us so much. And he was making my life difficult on this pen test. Well, one of our other guys, he came out and got the credits to the domain admin controller and everybody's user ID and the passwords they used for the last 2 years. It was a good gig. I had nothing to do with that. He did that. But the networking guy had a favorite password. And what he liked to do was a certain word, and he would just put numbers on it. at the end. No, not password, though that would have been amazing. We would have just totally straight out janked him on that one. No, it was even funnier than that. So what we did was on a call with his boss, our boss, and then the client's boss's boss, we were on this big conference call, and all the pen testers started using that word and tried to work it into a sentence. It was creative on our part. Some of it was just obviously, yeah, okay. It's like, it was hilarious. How did it help? Did that make him more secure? Did that make him feel indebted to us for the work that we did and the findings that we found? No. Screw us, guys. He learned nothing from that except for that we were jerks and he didn't want to work with us. And so any of the findings that we had that would have helped secure his company were lessened by the fact that he had to deal with us giving him that information. We didn't do a good job. It's like, and that's the only reason why I'm not saying their other names, because this is on me. It's like I didn't do a good job for him. It's like I was making it adversarial. I was making it something that it didn't need to be. And so, how did I help him? That's a problem. It's like we need to understand, no matter how much damage we do, no matter how much stuff that we do or uncover, we're doing that to better the security of the client. We're not there to find vulnerabilities. We're there to help secure their company. We do that by finding vulnerabilities. We find ways and processes that can be improved. But it's not there to go and say, hey, I'm your pen tester. Bam! Oh, where did the plan go? You know, that's not what's going to happen. That's not going to increase your return rate on their investment. So, I mean, you got to take it from a guy who literally, when he gets punched in the face too much, bites off a guy's ear, you know. So, I mean, let's talk about saying that. But this quote is actually halfway decent because it tells you something very important. Everybody who fights you is not your enemy, and everybody that helps you is not your friend. You can be an adversary and be there to help them with it. You can take that adversarial role and help them with it. It's like, face the fact that if you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem. Give them the value that they need by having them see what an actual attack would be like, and then helping them fix it. Showing them where the vulnerabilities are and what they can do to make it better. Allies come in unlikely forms and unlikely places. Do you know what happened when I stopped doing this? When I stopped doing that adversarial, do you know what I got? Help. I literally got employers. When I go into an engagement and I go, look, guys, this is not to make you look bad. I'm here to facilitate you getting the things that you need to do your job. When I find findings that you probably already know about, and I'm going to come across things that maybe you don't know about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be that voice to management to help you get the things that you need to better secure your company. Your management may not be listening to you the way they should, but they brought me in here to listen to me, and I can help be that advocate for you to get the things to help better secure your company, because that's what you want and that's what I want. And I have literally had clients go and say, well, that's really cool. You know, there's this other server in this develop area and stuff. You know, not people know because there's a firewall rule, but if you go past that on this one port, it's totally open. We've been saying that for years. No one's fixed it. That's a finding. So that helps you because you're actually helping them. It's like that's one of the key things. And also, short-term satisfaction often leads to long-term headache. It was hilarious, that conference call. I mean, seriously, I got some satisfaction out of that. That guy was a total bad word, and another bad word for good measure. It was bad. He was really a not nice person. So I really enjoyed, trolling him. Guess how many times we got asked back to do that contract? How many times did they call us back? Yep. Goose egg. Why would they? We were a-holes. We were jerks. I wouldn't want to deal with me back then. I mean, I had to deal with me back then because I was me back then. But it's like, literally, it's like going back now, I wouldn't have dealt with me back then. So that's the issue. You have to make sure that you're helping out your clients. And guess what? They may actually stay your clients. And that's good for, what's that stuff we're supposed to be doing? Business. Yeah, that's good for business. So this is another one. This was one of the best fails, because like that blue team one was one of the worst fails I did. This is actually one of the best fails that I did. I learned something important during an engagement. And what this was with a client who had a very secured facility, and I needed to get in the door. And so I'm in this one area, and I'm waiting for the client to go through. And when they go through, this lady comes in, she gets into the door, and I get in there behind her, and she looks at my badge, and she takes a second to look at it. And I don't blame her. The visitor's badge actually said Gregory D. Evans, Oopsie Inc., with my face going. So I can understand where she would look at that going, that seems odd. But what did she do? She let me in. And so she went to the right, I went to the left, went immediately to this one guy's office, and I pwned him. Yay, I won. I only have to get right once to win. I go to the second machine. Boom. Pwned. Good. Yay me. I'm feeling, awesome. I go out of the third machine, out of the third desk, the third cube, and I look down the hallway, and there's that lady. And I can tell by her body language, I can tell by her facial expression, she's talking to someone, you can tell that she's upset. You can tell she knows she made a mistake. The door is right there. I can go out that door and I won. Woohoo, touchdown, I'm getting ice cream. And then I thought to myself, what if I let her win? What if I keep going and see what she does and give her the chance to make it right? What happens then? And that is the engagement that I stopped doing or even pretending to try to do red team or pen testing. I only do security awareness engagements now, because on every engagement that I do now, I let the client win at least once. I give them a win. And so I walked past that lady, and I was like, hey, how you doing? She didn't say hi back, which I thought was rather rude. Okay, I'm trying to help her out. Okay, that was a little rude. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on the person, but you're supposed to be polite. Well, she was already polite. Maybe that was her problem. So, okay, and I went to this other office, and I get in there, and guess what I did? I compromised that machine, because I'm still doing my job. I'm giving her a chance, though, right? Less than a minute later, this freaking 6-foot Air Force dude comes. What are you doing here? I need to see. And I'm like, mother, I regret this decision instantly. It's like, I'm like, what did I do? It's like, I'm trying to I got this. I don't care. I want to see it. I'm going to call. Who are you supposed to be here for? And I'm like, this is not going how I planned. It's like, but they called and they found out. And they had a win. And now, instead of having all these bad things to look down at about how they failed, they have something to look up to. Now their employees are saying, hey, when you see someone doing something like, do what this person did, and this is what they did, and this is how they did it, and that makes it real to them, and they start taking it to heart. Instead of getting a report 3 months later about all the things that happened to some weird guy that happened 3 months ago that was bad, and they need to go through reorientation again and look at the internet and click on a little web seminar on how they need to combat social engineering. It's like every engagement I go in now, I will go into that place and I will destroy them to the best of my ability. And then I escape for 2 minutes. I literally, this week or so ago, it's like I ducked into a weave place in Beirut. I ran out of the building so quick because this lady was coming up behind me, and literally I was going down this side building, and it was an alleyway, and I'm like, so I ducked into the first open store thing, and it was like this weave place for hair, and there was this Ethiopian couple. They're a wonderful couple, a family with a little girl, and they invited me to lunch. I mean, it was very hospitable people, and I'm like, no, I just need to check something real quick, and I was acting like I was texting, but I was escaping. I was making sure that they didn't catch me. But what did I do after that? I went back in and I talked to every single person that I compromised, and I told them right then and there what I was doing was bad, why it was bad, and how they needed to learn from it. That gave them what I call a teachable moment. That gave them that teachable moment of what they need to not do or do to better keep people like me out. I mean, sometimes I've had to work at it. I mean, I was literally at this one bank, and I had been sitting there for like 20 minutes doing all kinds of nefarious things, and I have really bad ADHD, so I was getting really bored at this point. I mean, I was sitting in the chair, I was like, come on, please, I'm a bad guy. And I literally lean over, and this is the guy supposed to, I've already totally pwned all these other people. This was supposed to be their win. This was supposed to be the one where they actually won and caught me. But no one was catching me. And I needed to be caught. So I literally lean over to the guy and tap on his shoulder, say, what's the user ID and password for this server that's actually doing all this business right now for you guys? Because they had like a little server desk and stuff, underneath their desk right there. It's like, what's the user ID and password for this? He tells me. The user ID is the same as the password, which was the same as the name of the machine. Seems legit. Yeah. So I go, and what do? I log into that okay? And I shut it down. It's conducting business there. I shut it down. I unplug it. I start taking it out, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe they'll notice something sketchy, And so, I get to the door. I get to the gateway door, and the guy's like, maybe I should question what that guy's doing with our server. Which is a good call. I can't blame him for that. So he literally comes up to me, and he's like, excuse me, what are you doing? And I literally had to physically restrain myself from the 5 things that could have just immediately come out of my mouth that would have made it seem legit, and he would have let me go. Okay? Because I'm trying to give him a win. So I literally, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, you got me. I was a bad guy. I'm doing these. You're good. You gave me the user ID and password, but you were seeing what I was going to do with it. That was very smart. That was like, I wouldn't do that next time, but you were good. You caught me. What's your name? We got to put you in the report. You're amazing. Way to go. I'm done. You win. It's like, so sometimes you have to help them a little bit more than usual, but you got to give them the win. You got to give them something to look up to, because then you put that name in the report. I never put report names of the people who failed in the report. Never. But I make sure in bold, the person who caught me, the person who did the right thing is rewarded at least by recognition. Because that gives the other coworkers something to look up to. Because just remember, we're going to go to number 2. Servers don't respond to an attack with resentment. I've never seen a server go like, that wasn't very nice. Well, with some of the blue screens at desk, maybe that's what the problem is. I don't know. But it's like, you don't see that. People get that. You've got to understand that you're dealing with people, even when from the network layer, and you're all the way in one other part of the world, and they're in the other part of the world. There's still people responsible for those services. They're responsible for that network, and you're trashing what they do for a living. You have to remember that. You may never physically go to your customer site and see what they're doing and try to figure out how to work with what their network is, but you're dealing with people. That's responsibility is to keep that secure. Remember that. So giving a targeted win doesn't diminish your attack. I didn't look bad at any of those attacks. I still succeeded, but I still gave them the win. That's Michael Allen giving me crap right now. I don't care if you think that's a mistake. I'm being trolled next door. It's like, so when you look at a blue team as a teammate and not an adversary, you both win, right? They started listening to what I had to say. They weren't just feeling negative about it. They felt good about it. And so therefore I won, because I helped the client and I helped the people in the day-to-day business succeed. Even on the branches that I totally destroyed and they got no win whatsoever, they still got to hear about the other branches that did good and wanting to be like that and wanting to do that next time. Because that's something that the management didn't mind talking about. So that helps a lot. Now, the next community felt, this is really interesting because I've been waiting for Derbycon to do this one. So I started this talk started getting ready for it last year about failure. It's like, and one of the key things that it brought up to me, and the reason why I started building it is because you might see my Breaking Bad talk. It's like, I really think I felt like a badass on some of those things, you know? It's like, look at me breaking into this, bank and look into a state treasury over here. It's like, and oh, look, I broke into this place in Jamaica. It's like, look how awesome that stuff was. How does that help anybody? It's like, that's me grandizing, talking about all that stuff, and I put some information in there, but I started thinking about that. And I actually had someone from one of the talks, it's like, that was from one of the examples, he called me out on something. It's like, because this is the part where we talk about our community and how we actually deal with each other. And one of the things that I failed on was credit. When I gave that talk, Breaking Bad, how many times did I mention that Michael Allen and Andrew Nook was there helping me do research and recon for that charity in Jamaica? Never. I never gave them props. They were there with me. I was by myself doing all the cool stuff, getting in there, but I didn't do that alone. When I've done this stuff in Beirut, Khalil helped set up a web server. Jens helped with the beef hook project because I couldn't do the beef server. They set all that up. I did the fish. I sent that stuff out. Yay me. But I didn't do it alone. It's like the state treasury. It's like, the reason why they were so pissed is because Philippe and Adriel from NetraGuard, they destroyed them from the network side of it. That's why I got called in. A lot of these things don't happen in a vacuum. And sometimes we try to ask for help from other people. And we think that we're going to get that help from them, and that's all we can do. We need it, and that's all we do, and we don't give credit to it. It's like, so it makes me talk to people about one thing. It's getting wronged and being upset. I have people who don't like me in this industry. They don't like me. They don't have to like me. It's like, I know I'm adorable, and I know you find that hard to believe. But some people don't like me. And it's like, no, they don't want to hug me. I literally told one person in this industry, I said, look, that bridge we burned down? I think that's really good. Can we widen the river, maybe set it on fire? I'm good with that. That's good for me. That works for me. But they haven't wronged me. In this industry, we need to be more vocal when we get wronged. We need to get more vocal when someone does something that's not right. It's like, I got called out privately, but still I got called out, and I was like, you know what, you're right. I don't got an excuse. I got an apology. Because that's the way it should happen. But you can't be in this industry and everything that someone does that you don't like or think that's upset is being wronged. No, you're being upset because they're jerks. It's like, that happens. It's like, and it sort of like segues into something else that we're going to get into. But just remember that everyone makes mistakes, but some have no remorse or desire to correct them. So sometimes when you get wronged and you call that person out, they're going to admit it. Sometimes they're not. It's up to you to let it slide or not. But don't let it slide and then let it fester. You either call them out or you say, okay, I'm sucking that one up and I'm just going to forget about it and just live and let live. But you have to make that choice. It's like we have so many people in here that eat up themselves with all these issues that they have. And sometimes it's just literally you just have to say F it or say, no, I'm going to fight this one. It's like you have to do that. And never judge someone more harshly than you want to be judged for your failings. There is not one person in here I can look at and say, yeah, you screwed up way worse than I have. No, it's not about that. It's like, because trust me, I probably screwed up way worse than any of you have. So it's like, it's usually going to be me in the room. So it's like, and that's fine. But understand that. It's like when you're trying to go after someone that did something wrong, are you judging them more harshly because you think that you deserve that because they failed worse than you? It's like we are so unforgiving in this industry when someone makes a mistake. It's like when a breach occurs. How many people are going and say, well, I hope I learned a lesson from that. I hope some of the people that got breached learn from it. Or, nope, let's get popcorn. Let's start the memes. They got owned. What idiots. Yahoo. It's like, who does that? You know? Oh yeah, I just did that. I'm a horrible person though. See? It's like, see? No one fails worse than me. Why do we do that? If you're going to try to do that, why aren't you trying to add something to the conversation to make it better? It's like you're just adding fuel to the fire and no one needs to see the world burn. Though that's a really catchy part of the dual-core song. It's like, so you got to do something about it. Stop letting it fester and start trying to be part of that solution. And when you help someone who takes advantage of you, that's not on you, that's on them. I've literally had people that I've helped and it's like, thanks. And it's like, and I've never heard nothing back from them. That doesn't make me stupid. That makes me someone that's trying to do good. That's on them for it. But I felt guilty about it, thinking to myself, like, oh, well, you're stupid. You shouldn't have let them do that. You knew they were going to go there. It's like, you're an idiot, Jason, which, I hear that a lot. It's like, but still, you got to learn from that. It's understand that it's on them. Now, the next one, this happened 2 weeks ago. This was the part in the talk where I talked about being a noob at Defcon. Because trust me, at Defcon 12, I was ridiculous, okay? There was no one that, there's still pictures on the internet, which, yay. It's like, I spray painted my hair blue and it got worse from there, okay? Trust me. But I still had friends and still people that actually met me at DevCon 12 and said, hey, maybe we should give this idiot a little bit more of a chance. And they stayed with me. And then I became part of that community. And I became part of this community because of that. That was the first con I ever went to. And I went to it wrong. And I went to it horribly. Well, guess what? That's not limited to hacking. Because my son wanted to go play airsoft. And I was like, awesome. Air, soft. That sounds so cushy. Right? That sounds amazingly fun. It's like, are there marshmallows involved or what? No. There's these really hard BBs that hurt like a mother, and that cause you to bleed. Okay? But you know what? We're noobs. We went there, and that's the way we're dressed. That's my 11-year-old daughter, okay? She is my daughter. And y'all should fear for that statement, okay? She is a hacker, and that's how she is. My son wants to be a chef, and I think he's amazing. And my only rule in my house is you can be whatever you want to be, just be the best you can be at it. That's why in my bio it says I was the best janitor for 2 years in a row for McDonald's, Southeast Texas region. I am proud of that fact. I was one of the best janitors they had. It's like, so I tell him to be doing that. So he wanted to go play airsoft. That's what he wanted to do for his birthday. So we went to the airsoft range in short sleeve shirts. My daughter was in yoga pants. It's like, and we went and played with guys that were in full tactical armor and gear. Like we were like going into Mogadishu or something. I'm like, what the? I get there and I'm like, this is not soft or airy. It's like, what's going on here? And they're handing me and we look really badass, boom, but no, that was the only time that picture was in effect before it started. But do you know what they did? Did they help us out? Did they say, hey, you got to be careful you're not wearing the right gear? No. Guys in full tactical armor spawn camped and shot an 11-year-old girl repeatedly. Because screw us, we're noobs and we weren't prepared. That taught us a lesson, right? That showed us how stupid we were for trying to get involved in another activity, to get involved into another thing that other people liked and other people liked doing, and other people actually made it into their profession. That showed us. We were a bunch of noobs, and we got what we deserved. I literally, as I was walking off the field, I went by the tallest guy in tactical gear, and I said, this is really refreshing. Because when I'm playing Call of Duty and stuff, and a 12-year-old spawn camps me and stuff, I don't usually get to see him in person. What did that guy say to me? Nothing. He was an effing coward who shot an 11-year-old girl repeatedly because he was trying to teach us a lesson. We learned a lesson. My son hasn't asked to go back yet. My son was really involved in that and really wanted to get involved in that. How do we do that to the people in this community? Don't know how to tell them that. Can't do the Metasploit. Don't know how to use Kali Linux. Freaking noobs. And they want to get involved in what we're doing? How do we treat them? How many people do we burn out before they even start because we're better than them? And I've got a surprise for you. We're not. If you've got something that you're passionate about, you should be sharing that passion, not disparaging someone else's and judging what their passion is and if it's worthy of being included into what you do. That's not our decision to make, but we can influence it. We can ruin lives or help lives just by the way that we have our attitude when we come across a noob. It's like there is nothing wrong with wanting to be around others who enjoy what you do. They could have welcomed us, and we could have been part of that, and I would have gotten out and bought the right armor, because Lord knows I was never wearing a short sleeve shirt again. It's like, and we would have gone there, and we'd have done that, and we'd come back the next time, better prepared, with more information on how to do it. And we would have gotten slaughtered. But we would have learned and got involved in it and gotten more involved in it. But that didn't happen. One of the things that most cons is learning is to make sure that you got to make sure that learning's a part of it. When I first went to DEF CON 12, what did I do? I took a lot of effing pictures of people. How many conversations did I have with them? Not many. I thought that this is what DEF CON was supposed to be, so that's what it was going to be for me. You have the opportunity to make this con, or any con that you go to, a learning experience, something that helps you with your connections, with your networking, with learning things. Because that's what we're supposed to be here for. Not just the parties. Not just for the hugs. I know that sounds crazy and sacrilegious, but seriously. Okay, hey! I would deny everything, but I think we're being recorded. So it's actually, Iron Geek's already uploaded this talk. I just can't wait to see what it looks like. So, seriously, we need to be more part of it. And one of the things that we need to stop talking about is rock stars. People have called me that, and they really were trying to be nice and thought that was something that made me happy. I am not a rock star. There are no rock stars in this industry. We're dentists. Do you know the guy who created Invisalign braces? That guy's a millionaire. He's written books. He has changed people's lives. He goes to dentist conferences, and you know what happens? People are like, oh my gosh, I love your work in orthodontics, sir. Could you please sign your book? Thank you very much. Can I get a picture? Yay. Oh my gosh, I'm with him. He's awesome. He goes all over the world to dentist conferences talking about his creation and his discovery of Invisalign braces. Do you know what happens when he walks out of that conference? He's an effing dentist. He matters so little to me, I didn't bother researching what his name was again to tell you what it was. I don't care. Don't care. He's a dentist. But he's important in his field. And just like dentist, security. We tell people the things they need to be doing. We tell them how to practice good hygiene on the internet. When someone has a cavity or a breach, we go in. We're invasive, painful, expensive. No one wants to deal with it. But we patch it and we fix that cavity. Or the root canal. Those are really fun ones, right? We do those. And then we're done. And just like dentist, who wants to hear us? Who wants to see us? Who goes like, oh great, I get to go see the dentist today. What CEO ever is like, oh great, I get to talk to the information security department today. That's what we are. We are not rock stars in this industry. We are dentists. We are here to try to make things better, just like a dentist is. We are trying to serve society in a better way to make people better. Or to smile better, whatever. It's like, that's what we are. So whenever you see someone that knows what they're doing, who's in here, who's talking up here, talk to them down there. Learn from them. Because they are not any more special than you, because you are the same person they were before they got up on this stage, and you're the same person as soon as they get off this stage. You're trying to learn. My least effective time at this conference is right now. Because all I'm doing is going bleh to y'all, and y'all are listening to it. When I get off this stage, I get to interact. I get to talk. I get to have conversations. That's the value I get from coming to these conferences. That's why I go to these so many conferences all over. Well, it's also because I'm lonely, but this is another issue. Still, it's the interaction and it's meeting people. That's what you should be doing. So this is the last part of the talk. It's the greatest part. Who's going to admit a failure in the audience? Who's going to admit a failure? Yes. Oh, that was horrible. Thank you for that one. Anybody else got a good, what? Yes. Oh, well, okay, hold on. I'm sorry, that's not a fail. It's like, if they still had a SQL injection, that's not a vulnerability, that's poor coding, and that was a poor developer's fail, okay? Because I've gotten on a rant about SQL injections lately. It's like, I'm tired of them being called vulnerabilities. That's bad developing, okay? It's like, we need to make sure that we make a difference on that one. But yeah, that was still pretty bad a little bit, just, yes? We got a winner! Woo! So, because I don't think we're going to top that one. There you go. Any other questions? Any questions? Huh? There we go. I can do that for hours. All right, thanks guys. Take off. See y'all. Oh, and by the way, yes, there were several fails in the talk, including me using Comic Sans. It was a